Hi, 6th graders. This is Mrs. Gall. Today we're going to talk about how to find surface area and volume of composite three-dimensional figures. Get your notebook ready to go. Press play when you're ready to continue. Here's our first figure. If you want to try to sketch this, you can. Otherwise, listen carefully and write down any notes that might be helpful for you. We're going to find surface area and volume of this prism. Now you'll notice it's kind of like two prisms put together, a rectangular prism here and a triangular prism on this side. So we're going to break it down and we're going to find surface area and volume. Here's surface area. Now typically when we find surface area of rectangular prisms, we want to start by finding the area of each side and double it. But we really want to think about here what's exposed to the surface. If I were to have this as an object that I could hold and look around all the sides, what parts are actually showing and what parts are covered up because our shapes might be connected there. So if I look at just the rectangular prism, I have 5 sides that I can see and 1 side that is covered up. What side is going to be covered up? This side right here that connects to my triangular prism is no longer exposed to the surface. So that's one side that we are not going to include with our surface area. But all the other 5 sides I can see. So let's go ahead and break that down, finding area of all of those 5 sides. So this rectangle over here is going to be a 5 by 11. I do not have that same rectangle on the other side that's exposed to the surface, so I just have that one rectangle. Let's find another side. I have this front rectangle that's showing. That is a 5 by 12.5. And that one I do have on both sides exposed to the surface. So I'm going to take 5 times 12.5 and then double that. Grab my calculator here. 5 times 12.5 is 62.5, and since I have 2 of that side, I'm going to double that, which gives us 125. Okay, let's move on. We've got 2 more sides. We've got the top and the bottom. So we've got this long rectangle up here, as well as a matching one on the other side. It's getting kind of messy. Let's see if I can find the dimensions for that. This piece is 12.5. This piece is 11. So we're going to take 12.5 times 11 and then double it because I have that one on the other side. So the only one I didn't double was the 5 by 11 because it's covered up on this side. It's not being exposed to the surface anymore. 12.5 times 11 is 137.5. Double that, times it by 2, we get 275. That's the rectangular prism. Now we need to go over to the triangular prism. I have 4 sides that are exposed here. This rectangle is not showing because it's connected to the other figure, so I can't see that on the surface. But I have 2 triangles and 2 rectangles that are showing. So let's go ahead and find those now. Let's start with our triangle. Remember, to find area of a triangle, we take base, which is 12, times height, which if I look over here is 5. And because it's a triangle, I divide by 2. 12 times 5 is 60. Divided by 2 is 30, but then remember we do have 2 of those, one on the other side. So then we just go ahead and double that to get 60. All right, 2 more rectangles here. Let's find another one. We've got one on the bottom, and those dimensions are 12 by 11. So I'm going to multiply to get that area. I don't have to divide by 2 because that's a rectangle. 12 times 11 gives us 132. And then we have the slanted rectangle. If this were a skateboard ramp, it's kind of that piece up top here. And that has dimensions of 13 by 11. When I multiply those, I get 143. Now, how do I get this whole figure surface area? Add up all of these numbers. 55 plus 175 plus 275 plus 60 plus 132 plus 143. I get a total of 840 feet squared because we're working with surface area. Surface area, the only difference is you have a few pieces that are no longer exposed to the surface. So you have to figure out what those pieces are and make sure they're excluded from your total. Volume, I'm going to erase my drawing here so you can, or my scribbles so you can see the original drawing. Volume does not have as complex of a, well, doesn't have as many changes. For volume, you're going to find volume of both pieces and add it together. So just a friendly reminder, volume for a rectangular prism is length times width times height. So I need to find those different dimensions. So 12.5, 5, and I need this piece right here. So I'm going to keep going parallel till I find it, 11. So I need to take 12.5 times 5 times 11 for my rectangular prism. Let's see what we get for that volume. Oops, 12.5 times 5 times 11. I get 687.5. Okay, that's feet cubed just for the rectangular prism. Now let's move to the triangular prism. This is volume. What's different about the triangular prism's formula? You have to multiply and then divide by 2. We need 3 numbers here. We need the base and the height of the triangle, and then the distance between the 2 triangles. So I see I have 12. This number is missing, but if I look parallel, I see a 5. So I need a 12, a 5, and this number right here, 11. So we're going to take 12 times 5 times 11. And we're going to make sure we also divide by 2 because it's a triangular prism. 12 times 5 times 11, I get 660. Divide that by 2, I get 330. Now to get the total volume for this whole figure, what do you think I do with those 2 numbers? Add them together. When I add those together, my total volume, this was surface area, my total volume is 1,017.5, and that's feet cubed. All right, you guys, try the one on your study guide. Check in with your teacher if you have any questions.